The Factory Must Grow, From Starter to Megabase. Episode 3, Half-Belt of Iron Plate. With plenty of electrical power, it's time to establish mining of coal and iron, leading through smelting of a saturated lane of iron plate, feeding into automation science research, and automated production of conveyor belts. So the smelter will go down below this line, and I'll be feeding from the iron on the left and the coal up above. So in preparation for this, I did set up a blueprint book. So let's grab a copy of that, put it in our game blueprints. And I'm going to put these down on my hotbar so I can make use of them. So first off, let's organize the smelting itself. We're going to set it up here. This way we still have the ability to walk, and I'll underground the stuff crossing the paths later on if I want to do that. This means that my actual copper needs to come down and jog inward to meet up with this. Eventually there will be a splitter here for a full lane. Coming from the left, we need a line of coal, just like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the coal up. Actually, let's run our walkway first. We're going to down to the end of the smelter. In fact, let's run it down to the end of this. Let's leave some space in here for a little extra spaghetti. And then I'm just going to run it north. We have a whole bunch of resources to our west that we're going to mine through. And this provides us with a nice reference for where our smelters start. So everything needs to come down to the left of this. Good enough. So let's start with the coal. Eventually I'm going to need the entire belt, which would be that, and these are 14, let's make that 16. So this will be what we need eventually. Oh, I need to, these are really too close, so I'm going to change where my power poles are here, just so these guys can connect up properly. There. And along those lines, select new contents. There we go. Now this line will come down and get merged in, but for now I only need about 6 miners, maybe less. So let's run the line down. And as long as I'm running power poles, let's just run the whole thing out. Oops, too far. So now we need power. We've got this horizontal spine that already has power on it, so we can just bring it down and then take it on up to the coal. There we go. There's no need to populate the rest of that yet. I don't know what the correct ratio is of coal miners to smelting furnaces yet. So that'll have coal coming down. You know, so it will be placed onto the left-hand lane of this vertical belt using an inserter. That's actually a trick that speedrunners use. I tend to not use it. I have a more classical smelter that I normally use in games. But, you know, hey, why not? We're going to do this one based on Nephrim's plans, so I might as well use some of his layout while we're doing it. And I'm just going to put one of those in the bottom because we need to get our iron coming in. Actually, let's... This also means that I'm going to be... Well, heck. Let's bring it over one. So we need our iron coming from the left here. Well, the easy way to do this, I need to put 15 of these on, and I'm just going to start. I'm going to start there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have a blueprint for this, but it's easier just to lay them out for now. Okay, so there's the iron ore coming south. That will meet up, and now we can start laying out our inserters. Now down at the bottom here, this is where I'm going to start putting in things like our science. I'm going to end that path there. I'm just going to start building here. So we're going to end up abutting ourselves into this stuff. So these are gears for red science, and they are dumping into some boxes. I have no iron. So at this point, I am going to run back and get iron. Or, yeah, or I could just pick it up like this. It's a modest amount of iron, but it should be enough. So we're going to dump those into boxes. I'm going to limit the size of these. And this is kind of a temporary science area. We're going to build a larger one later. And this gets our 2 labs that we have so far. So at this point, once we start cranking up, I want to do some research here. I've got automation and logistics done. So electronics and maybe fast inserters and logistics science. And let's see, what do I want to do after this? Let's go into steel next and steel axe. Okay, so that'll get us going there. Won't need to worry about science for a little bit. Get some power run into here. I should probably set up a vertical power spine rather than tap from there. Let's do that. Yeah, let's come down far to the left here instead of where I came down already. Like that. So we need to have this to power this little inserter here. Don't need these. But putting that right on that corner gets us the power we need for our smelting. And each smelter is going to pass power on to the next one to the right, so we're good there. The next thing I want is a little overflow here. So let's see. Let's have up to 10 stacks of iron in the overflow. And I'm only going to drop something in the overflow when it's not needed. And for now, we're just going to use one of the mini loaders. So 3.75 items per second go into the mini loader. So these guys need some copper. Now I could put the copper into these directly, and that would give me, I think, 50 science out of each one. But it's easier if I'm going to put 4 stacks of copper in each one of these boxes, so I don't have to worry about this as often. There. And now we can run back and get more resources. In fact, our goal for this is just to automate science. And I think, yeah, I wanted to do belts as well. Let's tack the belts on before I go back. And there's belts. Let's see. That'll give us enough. There. And we can toss this into, say, 5 stacks of belts. We need a lot of belts for this stuff. And I've got handy hands giving us a whole bunch, and get a whole bunch here, and that'll help. Okay. So that actually hits the goals that I had for this episode already. So now we go into the trailer, the ending of the episode, where I'm just going to, run out to the other side of the world where I can pick up resources from the other base. I know that this line is going to be building up excess plate, and it's going to be providing science, and it's going to be providing me belts, so I'll just let that run. So anybody wanting to skip onward to the next bit of action can go ahead and go to the next episode at this point. Meanwhile, for those of you that want to watch me running around and moving resources into place, sit back and enjoy. Okay, that's enough futzing around. I picked up a whole bunch of resources. I laid out a bunch of things. Handy Hands has eaten up a bunch of the resources. But let's call it here at 1 hour and 30 minutes. About.